it? It's a dinosaur! Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Oh my fucking god, fucking dinosaurs! Holy shit! What the fuck?
Hey guys, I'm going to do a deck profile for you today. It's been a while since I played a meta deck, like straight meta, or taking a straight meta deck to a regional, which is what's going to be happening this next Sunday. We have a regional, and I think the last time I took a meta deck to a tournament, or to a regional, was maybe 2011, playing Gravekeepers with the 3 dualities. Right after they, I think, won Atlanta is when I was playing that at a regional, and I lost my last round and missed the top cut very close. So I've become a better player since then, and so I wanted to take a stab at this regionals and kind of put my best foot forward and play a meta deck. I didn't want to buy, the Mermel stuff. I think all that stuff's going to start going down in price eventually, but right now it's still high because just last week they won YCS Austin. Now speaking of YCS Austin, this deck, which is Dino-Fist, took a top 32 spot. It's a build that I'm not going to be running. The one I'm going to be running a version of would be the one that Fraser Smith went undefeated at a regional last weekend with. It's the closest thing to what I'm playing. And I think Fraser Smith is one of the better Yu-Gi-Oh! Minds in the game, so I read his articles and I kind of take what he says to heart because I think he has enough experience. I think he's got somewhere in the 20s of top at regionals, and obviously he's won a YCS and has a number of tops there too. So it's not so much net decking, I don't think, but you have to be able to trust where you're getting your information from, and I think he's one of the better Yu-Gi-Oh! Minds in the game. So with that being said, my deck is sort of like his. It's a few cards different, but I think it's going to give me a really good chance to win, and I'm excited to play it. So let's start. You got the 3 bear. Send a fire formation card, pop a monster on the field, and if he attacks and does damage, you get a fire formation card to your back row. Just a consistent card, gets rid of a lot of problems for you, and he's the reason why you actually play the Fire Fist engine. Then you're going to play 1 Gorilla. He does the same thing as Bear, except he pops a back row, and he has to destroy a monster and send it to the graveyard for his effect to go off to add to the back row. So we're only playing one of him. He's not as needed as Bear. Then we're going to get to the normals. These are 3 Gene Warped Werewolves. This means I am playing Rescue Rabbit. Gene Warped is the best vanilla you can play in this variant, better than Worst Raider. Worst Raider was discussed for a while because we weren't aware what the ban list was going to look like, and Worst Raider going to 2000 and being deck devied off to get rid of all the wind-up monsters seemed like a good play. But now that we don't really have to worry about that as much, Gene Warped Werewolf is the clear winner. There's also Nin Ken Dog, which is another one that was floating around, so you can make Lightning Chidori. But you just want the beat stick. The 2000 gets over a lot of threats, Thunder Kings, and all those 1900 monsters, and all the Fire Fists. Gets over most every normal summoned monster. So Gene Warped Werewolf, we're running 3. Then 3 Saber Sources for the dinosaur part of the deck. Got the 2 rabbits, and then the 2 rabbits' friends, the tour guides. So that's all pretty self-explanatory. The main deck, it's very built around, making your plays and setting a ton of back row. It's an anti-meta deck that's a little bit more consistent than just a standard rabbit build. I think that's what the Fire Fist bring to the build, rather than just being, hoping you draw, the rabbit and going off from there. If you draw into your Fire Fist engine, that's still good, and you can make plays using that. So you mix the 2 together. I think they cover each other's weaknesses pretty well, and it makes for a pretty consistent. It's a very linear deck. There's not going to be a lot of combos going on, so the plays are very, very easy to kind of learn. But so your normal summon's very important, and I'll get to some of the choices I've made on the deck due to that fact. 3 Tenki searches out your Fire Fist and is fodder for their popping effect. 1 Tensu lets you normal summon an extra Beast Warrior that turn, so you can go, Rabbit, get 2 Dinos, make Lagia, play a Tensu, then play a Bear and make plays from there. It just extends plays and allows you to, especially I'd say mid-game, this card is probably the best early to mid. It's allowing you to make extra plays that you wouldn't normally be able to, but you only run 1. I'm running 3 Lance. This is different from Fraser's build. He only ran 1, I believe, or excuse me, you ran 2. And I think that the normal summon of your monsters is so important in this deck that I think 3 is good as well. I'm going to be running it with 3, and this is kind of where it kind of splits off. Instead of running 3 NSTs, I'm running 2, and then 1 more Lance. So 1 duality. I like his reasoning that you never want to get more than 1 of those in your hand at a time, and I agree with that. And I think the deck is consistent enough without having to run 2. But running 1 allows you to kind of dig a little bit deeper, get an extra back row that you may not normally be able to draw into. And some people's logic with Pot of Duality is very odd to me. They look at it like a upstart goblin kind of, and they're like, well, if you're running 42 cards, why would you run a duality? Duality is only supposed to speed up your deck. I don't think that. Duality is supposed to make your deck more consistent, and that's what he's doing here. Heavy Storm, Monster Reborn, Dark Hole. Then we have a pretty hefty trap lineup. Again, this is playing kind of like a stun deck. Double Fiendish Chain, double Compulse. Now, Fraser's build didn't run any Compulses. I think Compulse is fantastic, and I'm going to be running 2. He also ran a card D, which I'm not going to run. I don't have one, and I don't think it's necessary. Double Bottomless, double Deep Prison, double Mirror Force, double Torrential, Starlight, Solemn, and that's the entire deck. It's pretty linear, and again, when it's linear, it means the plays are easy to see, and it's an easier to play deck. And I do agree with that. I've played much harder to play decks than this, but like I said, I want to play a good deck. I want to top. That's just what I want to do with this time. So until the 3-axis Fire Fists are made available, I'm going to be playing this 4-axis Dino-Fist build, and it's pretty straightforward. I'll go over my extra deck. Double Tiger King. You go into Tiger King, it allows you to fetch out a formation card, set it to your back row, and then you can detach a monster from this guy to negate the effect of all non-Beast Warrior monsters on the field to the next turn. So that second effect, you pull it off every once in a blue moon, but he's mainly just to put a bigger body on the field and get the fire formations. Both Lagia and Dolka. Of course, you only play the 3 Sabersauruses, so you don't need to run multiples of this guy. You can't just like tour guide it out of the graveyard with Leviair and just go Rabbit again. So you only need to run 1. And then a bunch of staple rank 4s, Black Chip of Corn, Base Stroke, Cowboy, Abyss Dweller. Thinking about pushing this up to 2 because Bormills is prevalent in my area. Cutting the roach for it. Utopia, 1 Diamond Dyer. Fraser didn't run this card. I'm not sure why. I think it's a good card. Leviair, Zenmaines, Acid Golem of Destruction, and Stardust. And the reason I'm running Acid Golem over like a Leviair, or excuse me, Leviathan Dragon, is this is to get around the 2,600 to 3K threats that sometimes you're standing in your way. Off the top of my head, like Garanix, you know, if all I have is a play with what's it called, with Tour Guide, you know, going into a Zenmaines isn't really going to deal with Garanix very well. And, you know, going into a Leviathan Dragon is just going to get attacked over. So it's meant to be, I need a Sword and Shield in the rank 3, so the Sword being my Acid Golem and the Shield being my Zenmaines. It's much like the rank 4s with Utopia being my Sword and Shield, and Dijin being a straight Shield. So that's the deck. If you have any questions, just let me know. I try to make this shorter than my most recent videos, trying to see if maybe that's what's really making y'all less interested in my videos lately. But if you have any tips or suggestions on what I can do to make this better, just let me know. Thanks for watching, guys.